Nobody saw this coming, least of all President Cyril Ramaphosa himself. In a moment that stunned Parliament and electrified political circles across South Africa, Julius Malema, the fiery leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, stood up in the National Assembly and delivered a blow that may have just shifted the entire political balance. Whether you support him or not, Malema has a knack for timing, and this time, it couldn't have been more brutal for Ramaphosa. "We cannot continue to pretend," Malema shouted across the chamber, his voice echoing as MPs fell into shocked silence. "This parliament has failed to hold the president accountable. Today, we fix that mistake." What followed was one of the most explosive moves in recent parliamentary history, the formal tabling of a motion demanding a parliamentary inquiry into President Ramaphosa's alleged mishandling of constitutional duties, including the long-simmering Fela scandal and accusations of executive overreach. And just like that, the temperature in Parliament skyrocketed. The trap no one saw coming. Let's back up. For weeks, Malema and his allies had been relatively quiet. Too quiet. With the national spotlight shifting toward the ANC's internal chaos and the DA's coalition maneuvering, many assumed the EFF was simply regrouping. But what we witnessed this week was not a regroup, it was a calculated strike. According to insiders close to the EFF caucus, Malema had been preparing this move behind closed doors for over a month. One senior source was quoted saying, "He waited for the perfect storm, ANC's approval ratings dropping, public frustration over load shedding at its peak, and whispers of coalition cracks. Then boom, he pulled the trigger." This wasn't just about a political spectacle. It was a strategic ambush designed to catch Ramaphosa flat-footed, and it worked. The motion that shook the chamber. The motion introduced by Malema called for an independent parliamentary investigation into the president's conduct regarding the Fela farm robbery, where large sums of foreign currency were allegedly hidden and not properly disclosed. Possible abuse of presidential authority in interfering with law enforcement processes. Ramaphosa's alleged role in protecting ANC elites from prosecution in corruption-related matters. What made the moment even more surreal was that some ANC MPs didn't immediately object. A few even appeared visibly rattled. Could it be that cracks within the ANC are deeper than we thought? As opposition benches erupted in cheers, the speaker struggled to maintain order. Malema simply stood there, arms crossed, a smirk creeping across his face, a man who knew he had just detonated a political landmine. Public reaction. Finally, someone spoke up. Online, the reactions came fast and loud. On X, formerly Twitter, the hashtag Ramaphosa Exposed began trending within an hour. Some users hailed Malema as a national watchdog, while others accused him of orchestrating chaos for personal gain. One viral post read, "I'm not an EFF fan, but credit where it's due, Malema just said what every South African has been screaming at their TV for months. Where's the accountability?" Political analysts, too, were caught off guard. Professor Mandla Komu, a veteran political commentator, told ENCA, "Whether this motion succeeds or not is beside the point. Malema has just shifted the national conversation. That's the real power move here." Ramaphosa responds, but it may be too late. President Ramaphosa, who was not present during the session, later issued a brief, carefully worded response via his spokesperson, stating, "The president maintains that all his actions have been within the bounds of the Constitution and welcomes any lawful and objective parliamentary processes." But observers noted the defensive tone, and many are asking, if everything is above board, why the consistent stonewalling on Fela? Why the reluctance to testify publicly? The opposition parties, including the DA, IFP, and smaller independents, are now under pressure to either back the motion or explain to voters why they won't. It's a masterclass in political cornering, and Malema knows it. A pattern of disruption or a call for justice. This isn't the first time Malema has weaponized Parliament for political spectacle. But critics who dismiss this move as mere showmanship might be missing the bigger picture. Over the last year, trust in South Africa's democratic institutions has plummeted. From Eskom's rolling blackouts to water crises, to alleged elite impunity, the public mood is sour, and someone needed to take the first swing. Whether Malema is a genuine agent of accountability or political arsonist is a matter of opinion. But there's no denying this, he is forcing the conversation. And Cyril Ramaphosa is once again playing defense. What happens next? The motion now heads to the Rules Committee for deliberation, and that process could take weeks. But the political damage is already done. The headlines are out. The ANC is under the spotlight. And Ramaphosa's leadership is back on trial, if not in court, then certainly in the court of public opinion. One ANC insider reportedly told City Press off the record, "We underestimated Malema again. He's not just a street fighter, he's reading the room, and he's reading it better than we are." Final take, this is bigger than one speech. Whether this inquiry moves forward or not, Julius Malema just reset the political game board in South Africa. Ramaphosa's steady, technocratic approach might have worked in calmer times. But in an era of frustration, fuel hikes, corruption fatigue, and a restless youth population, boldness wins headlines, and possibly votes. And bold is exactly what Malema delivered. One thing is clear, Parliament will not be the same after this. And if Ramaphosa doesn't respond with equal force and transparency, he might just find the rug completely pulled out from under him, not just in Parliament, but at the next national election. Want more explosive political breakdowns like this? Hit subscribe, because South African politics just keeps getting louder.